It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission really is to provide you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Latanya Washington, who's in the building to be talking about resilient branding in challenging times. What's going on, Latanya? How are you?
I am doing well, and I am super excited to be with you, Mr. Brown. Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Brown. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been elevated. I've been promoted, by the way. Now, if I can jump into it, because there's folks that are watching right now, they're dualpreneurs, so they get it. They work full-time jobs, they're full-time entrepreneurs, and they're saying building a resilient brand in tough times. Can you slow down, or can we slow down? We'll speed up.
Yeah.
What does branding mean to you? Because it means different things to different people, so we can all be on the same page. Give us what is branding and why is that important for entrepreneurs or even folks who are in career positions these days?
You know what? That's a great question because there's a difference between a brand and branding. So, when we're talking about branding, we are talking about how do I position myself in the marketplace? How do I put myself, as I always say, between the sugar and the salt? Many times we look at it as putting that in between those two on the shelves, but it literally branding is how do I put myself in the marketplace and how do I show up in the mindset of the people who see what it is that I'm trying to produce or what it is that I do, my authentic self. And so then when we talk about brand, Shay, we're talking about how do people perceive me to be? So I always tell people, especially when you're talking about your brand, you automatically are a brand because it is how people perceive you and how they literally see you as your reputation. That's what a brand is. And so it all depends on who we are, how we're looking to show up, and how we are willing to take out the time to put ourselves in the marketplace in a positive manner. Now you could be bad and negative, and that's your brand. So, that's will. But when we talk about as a business, as a solopreneur or as a dualpreneur, we have to be very, very mindful how we're showing up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll find out in a moment who she is and her background. I know some of you are reading her bio. I get it, by the way. You're already following along, but I want to follow up and see if she'll talk to two different individuals if we can, because I love it. There's one individual that you talk about building a resilient brand. So we talk to the entrepreneur, maybe just getting started, right? And they're like, okay, I'm getting started. What are one, two, or three things I should be even looking at because I keep switching around what I want to do. So we'll talk to you, and then we'll come back on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk to the person that's been in business, and you're like, I need to really rebuild this brand. I need to reconnect with my target audience. I know it's two separate areas, and I'm sure Latanya can handle this. So let's first start, if we can, with just the person who's just getting started in business, less than 3 years, and they're really trying to build it. What are maybe one, two, or three things that you can share with them that can help them?
Sure. First thing is to evaluate what it is that you're really trying to do. What is that passion that you love to do now, and what are the skills that you actually have in order to really project yourself out into the market? So first things first, what is it that I'm trying to do? How am I trying to show up? Next thing is, when we're talking about that, evaluate what you see. Do some research and evaluate is what it is that I'm looking to do out in the market, especially if I'm looking to be profitable, is something that people are looking for. And there are ways in which we can begin to look at our social media platforms or out in the marketplace to really evaluate what people are looking for. And the last thing is you have to be a person that is willing to take the ups and the downs. You have to be a person that's willing to be patient to see yourself grow, because we have to be willing to give ourselves the ability to grow, because it literally takes time to do so in the process of that. So that's exactly what I would tell an entrepreneur that's just starting out in the business. You've only been in it for 1 to 3 years. Give yourself time to grow as well. Can I add a fourth thing to that, Shay?
Yes, you can.
Find a mentor, somebody who is in the marketplace that you find that's being successful, and see if they're willing to take you under their wings to show you the ins and outs of everything. And with that, be willing to grow. Follow people. You might even find a mentor that you don't know, and you're just willing to follow them in the process. You'll learn a lot even in that way.
You know, I love it because you have your hand on the pulse of what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have someone just speaking and talking and teaching in the chocolate factory somewhere in some tower. She's actually someone who's every day out there in the field, not only talking about it, but helping folks. And that's why I want to come to the other folks, the entrepreneurs out there. You've been in business 3 or more years, and you're like, okay, I've got to reestablish my brand, and that could be a challenge. Or I'm doing something entirely new now. They know me as one thing, but that's not all that I am. And you know, we get questions sometimes, Latoya. I know it's so funny. You might hear it all the time that they got all these talents and they can do anything. You let me know what you want me to do, and maybe that is a brand. I don't know. That might be a superpower. So here's the question: entrepreneur in business 3 or more years, and now it's time for them to transition and introduce a different type of brand to the market. What are 1, 2, or 3 steps they should do so they just don't confuse everyone?
Right. I'm glad you brought that up, because people can become confused. Because remember, it is how people perceive you to be. So if they see you doing this thing one day and then you come across the next day as doing something different, now everyone's confused, and they will go find someone else that is doing what exactly that they need or what it is that they desire. So I would say for people that are looking to transition, or what we call many times is pivoting, because sometimes we're in one space and we need to move into something else, because maybe it is that season to move into something different. And so with that, I say you want to do it slowly. You have to take the people along with you in the journey as you position or you pivot into that next phase of your life. Now, it could be as well, Shay, that you may still be able to do one thing in the marketplace, but you also are able to do something else. So, with that, when we talk about putting your brand out there, you may have to have two different websites. You may have to have two different social media platforms, but you have to be able to combine things in a way in which your, as we say, your brand voice, your tone, the way you share that information out there. And so you're able to do that way. Another thing is when people that have been in business for a minute, I always tell people, share your story, share your brand story, why you were here and why now you decided to transition into something new. And the reason why is people transition all the time. We change, just like they say, what's that song? Everything must change. Seasons changed. Fall turns to spring, winter, fall, winter, all those things. And so it's okay to pivot. It's okay to to transition, because the economy may require you to do so. That's just like people working a regular 9 to 5 job may have that business on the side and finally decide, okay, I'm sick of this 9 to 5. I'm feeling secure enough to transition into the thing that I really, really know I've been purposed and I've been called to do. And so that is how a person that's in the business for a minute, you're able to really, really transition. But tell your story, share it. My first degree, Shay, was in nursing. And here I am now in business, and there's a story behind it, but it all came together for a reason, because I really had to have empathy and an understanding of people as well. So nothing is wrong, and things happen for a reason. Yes.
I love it. Share your brand story. It has evolved and changed. Now, if we can, I hope you don't mind me picking your brain here, but I want to talk about this crisis, the opportunity, and this is for the person that maybe got started in business and maybe burned some bridges. Okay, they didn't burn them down, but they burned some bridges. I'll give you an example. I know we first got started. I'm probably the only one out there like this, and we were selling so fast, the revenue was coming in, but we really didn't have the infrastructure to handle the revenue was coming in. I thought I could just buy people to handle customer service and buy people to do this. And I'll be honest, we burned some bridges, right? Some things weren't right, and we had to go back to our audience and get it right. I'll say it like that. And fortunately, they knew where our heart was. So my question is, for folks that had the best intentions, they didn't equal the best results, and they've got to go back to the market to try to brush the brand up. Is there one, two, or three? I know I keep saying one, two, or three. You may only have one. I don't know. But recommendations, because that's a crisis that you've got to fix, or you could be out of business.
You can be out of business. So let's go back to that. Remember that Chick-fil-A? What was it? Wasn't Chick-fil-A? Who was it with the chicken sandwich? It was Popeyes.
Chick-fil-A.
Remember Popeyes?
Popeyes,
Remember
yes.
Popeyes? And they ran
Yes.
out of chicken sandwiches, the new chicken sandwiches. It was a
Yes.
ruckus. It was nothing but chaos. And so that's a situation right there, because that was a major crisis. So anytime, and they showed you by example. So anytime that there's a crisis, you all, and I say that, what is the definition of a crisis? A crisis is when you see something happening and it's affecting a lot of people. It's affecting everyone, not just one person. That might be a complaint or something else, but a crisis is when it's affecting everyone surrounding you. So what do? We got to shut it down. We have to shut it down, and we have to fix the problem. And then we need to go back out and we have to apologize. And I'm glad, like you were just saying, we had to go back and we had to talk to our current customers, share that information, and apologize and say, I'm so sorry. And then give them something for their trouble. What can I give you a discount? What can we do to resolve this problem? And another thing in that, always ask the question, what can we do to help resolve this problem? Because in the midst of that, it allows people to feel as though not only that you care, but they also are part of the solution. And that way they will feel like, okay, they really care. I'm going to hang around here. And so that's how we handle a crisis. First, we got to shut that. We can't keep moving because nothing will be fixed. So we have to shut it down, and then we have to fix it. Evaluate how long it's going to take you to fix it. If you need to call people in, whatever, and then talk to your consumer, your clients, your customers, and apologize and give them something for their troubles. That's how you fix it.
I like
That's
that. Apologize. And the other part she said was give them something. So it's going to be a little painful, ladies and gentlemen, for their troubles, but you will get a lifetime customer, and a lifetime value will far exceed that one particular transaction. Folks are listening. They're like, Shay, I'm in the kitchen cooking, because we have dualpreneurs. A lot of dualpreneurs that watch this, by the way, they work a full-time job and they're a full-time entrepreneur. They take care of the husband, or they take care of the wife. They take care of the kids. They're involved in the community. And like, Shay, I didn't get a chance to go read no bio. I'm cooking right now, or I'm driving down the road. I'm listening to my podcast. Take a moment, and can she say, who is this person? Tell us her backstory, and then what led her to the journey she's doing now. She talks about a brand story. Give it to her. Okay. I hear y'all. So if you can, please share what's your backstory that led you to what you're doing now. The folks want to know.
Well, currently, I live in the great state of California, Southern California, but I'm originally from Ohio. Go Buckeyes, the Ohio State. But growing up in Ohio, coming from a two-parent home structure, everything was there. Got married when I was 21, 23, moved here to California, already went to nursing school, obtained my degree in nursing. But you know what? It was for me, you all. I remember one day I stepped on the floor at the hospital and I got this splitting headache, and I began to pay attention to it. And every time I would go back to the floor, I continued to get a headache. And it only happened when I stepped foot on the floor. As time went on in my life, you all, I began to realize there was time for a change. It was time for me to pivot because I don't believe anything happens by accident. And I always had that business in me. And so as I began to progress in life, I found myself too, even as life went on, doing different things. And in my 50s, you all, I went back to school. I went back to school and got a degree in business administration because I love business. And then, of course, then I became a professor at the college on top of running my own business, the customer culture. But I share a little bit of that story to let you know that nothing happens by accident because it was in that nursing degree that, as I said previously, I was able to develop more empathy for people, have a caring spirit because it was always there. Even as a little girl, I wanted to become a nurse. And then also having those attributes made me really, really understand how to evaluate being in the feet of people that I come in contact with, whether it is in business, whether it is in my personal life, all of those things came into play. And so that's why I always tell people no matter where you are in life, nothing happens by accident. There are lessons that have to be learned, and you have to just simply allow yourself to be guided through the process because nursing was one season in my life. And now here it is, I'm in business, running a business, a college professor. And when I look back, I sit back and say, who knew? But in the process, you all, you're going to go through them valleys and you're going to go through those mountains and those valleys. I've been through divorce. I've been through a financial crisis. And I shared with someone before 2019. I remember I said, how do I know that it was bad in 2019 for me? I said, how do I know? Because I looked at my credit report. It wasn't cute. It wasn't cute, Jay. But in the process, you begin to build, you focus in and you build from where you are now and being willing to go through the process and having patience to go through and not just jump, jump because of things that are going on in life. Be willing to be patient in the process. So that's a piece of my story. I think one day I'm going to write a book, Shay. I think I am.
Well, you've shared so much, which is amazing, and thanks for being transparent because it leads us to a
Yeah.
segment of the show that we have called "Today is my January 1st." Now, for those folks that are out there listening, I know you tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You wait for this moment to be able to say those words. Today is my January 1st, and for all the new folks, we want to welcome you to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please follow us. Today is my January 1st, represents a fresh start. It's our personal mantra. It means you get a do-over. It means the past, no matter how great the past is or how dark and gloomy the past is, the past no longer equals the future. So my question for Latanya on the other side is twofold. One, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, when it was another incident where there was a setback in your life and you had to bounce back from it, and how were you able to do that?
All right. So that first question today is my January 1st. That's the first two words that come to me is new beginnings. Let go of that past. This is new beginnings. This is a new year, new month, new beginnings. Let everything else go. We are still above ground, which gives us the opportunity to do more, do that do over. All right. The next thing is if I look back and I evaluate, it would be give yourself permission to grow. Give yourself the permission to grow no matter what other people might be doing, no matter the age of other people that are like you, even though they look like they may be surpassing you. Be okay and give yourself the ability to grow because all of us have different paths. We may be going for the same goal, going in that same, direction, but there are things, and I keep saying this word, Shay, things to learn in the process because we don't know who are going to be the particular people that we come in contact with, that we're going to have to share our story with and share with them our obstacles and our triumphs. So giving me the permission to just grow and be okay with it, and that patience in that time. Yeah, that would be for me.
Thank you again for sharing. I just love it, by the way. So transparent. And one of my favorite questions I ask and when I get a chance on these episodes is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, right? And for the audience, I'll frame it for the audience that Latanya's had so many mentors along this journey of life. It's kind of almost unfair to go out there and try to pick any one. But if she had to reach out and grab, say, you know what, here's something that was shared with me that I'm going to share with you to help you on your journey, what would it be? So here's the question. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice that I've ever been given came from my sister, my elder sister. And that's once again when I was going through divorce and she thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. She jumped on a plane from Michigan and she said these words to me: "What are you going to do? Sink or swim? Sink or swim?" And I said from that moment forward, I am going to swim. And Shay, I've been swimming ever since. Those were the monumental words for me. As you see, it still is relevant in my mind. What are you gonna do? You choose to sink or you gonna swim? Get them paddles out and let's go. Let's go.
I love it, by the way. I love it. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world and helping people build their businesses and have customer service and you're not out teaching and all the wonderful things you do? What in the LL Cool J do you do for fun these days?
You know what? The older I become, I cherish friendships. And so I love going to jazz festivals. I love going to restaurants, having a great meal with friends. And then sometimes, Shay, I just like being to myself because we are so busy doing this, being here, have to be this place, doing all of these things. Sometimes I just like to sit back and I'm gonna tell you what I love. I love. A lot of times before I go to bed at night, I'm either watching a comedy or I'm watching Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Give me a Godzilla and a King Kong. I'm good with it. I'm waiting for the next ones to come out. Those are the things that I love. I am a sci-fi kind of girl. Why? I cannot tell you, but I love it. And those are the things, though that's fun for me. Just enjoying just simple things. It don't take
And
much
when it
for
comes
me.
to music, you mentioned jazz is one of the things you love. Is there any particular type of jazz that you like? There's so many different genres of jazz these days. I'm just curious, being nosy, I'm just curious, is there any one particular style or artist that you like? That's my jam right there.
Well, first of all, I have a brother that is a saxophonist out of the great state of Ohio. But I love classic jazz. I love Boney James. I love songs like that. They just that smooth jazz. Come on, give it to me. And classic smooth, but I think that smooth just takes the cake for me. And of course, I love gospel music too.
Yeah.
But just something that really touches the heart, touches the spirit, and touches the soul of man. Those are the things that I love because remember, music also has a spirit to it. And so, in those times when I really feel that, I simply love it. I love it. Those are my favorite genres. Yeah.
I love it, man. As we come down the home stretch, last two questions. Number one, what type of clients are you working with these days, if any, by the way? And how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Sure. I have two types of clients. For the customer culture, that is my company for big organizations that have 10 plus employees. And so in the customer culture, we go in and we do trainings for their staff, their managers, their employees on showing them and training them on the best practices when it comes to customer success. Because at the end of the day, no customer, no business, no money. All right. The next thing is I also have Latanya Washington, which is actually the brand which focuses in on the entrepreneur and the small business owner. And I really focus in on the customer journey, the customer journey mapping. Because once again, from the minute they come in contact with you, that brand awareness, whether it is on a social media platform or people get a chance to meet you in person, once again, what is their perception of you? And people and customers and clients go through journeys, and you have to understand their actual journey. And in that, understanding their journey from the beginning all the way to the end, and there is a circle of life. You have to also be able to look at the gaps that might be in it that you need to fix. So it also allows your business to thrive. But everything has to be, you all, focused in on the customer, because once again, no customer, no business, no money. Take care of your customers because it's about customer success. Yeah.
I love it, by the way. Thanks so much. Let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. And thanks to Dr. Darnese Martin, who connected us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. What an amazing show. And you are reaching thousands upon thousands of people around the world. And so you are so much appreciated. If no one has told you lately, you are appreciated, Mr. Brown.
Thank you so much. I certainly appreciate that. And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Without you, there is no show. So thanks for showing up. For those that paid the message forward, hit the share button. We appreciate you. If you left your comments, thank you so much. Please tune in again tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I never get tired every night of sharing what you just, as she just talked about, how awesome you are, how you're such a special individual. And no matter what's going on in your life right now, here's what I know for sure, that today indeed is your January 1st. And just because of that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. They ain't seen it yet. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name still hasn't changed. It's Jay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. We'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Peace. Thanks a lot, Latanya. We out of here. Bye-bye.